You guys can start lining up in the chat for questions and start firing away.
Hey, Coach, I'll start. Welcome to Champaign-Urbana. Just wondering what these last few days have been like for you since you've been hired, and what are you most looking forward to about working under Bret at Illinois?
Yeah, it's been fast. It's a quick. From talking with Coach over the weekend, and being with family and hearing a great opportunity from Coach and about the news, and we were excited, and it's been a lot of things happening at once, and we're just happy to be home, and so we're excited.
Absolutely. Obviously you kind of got some of your start in the college game in the coaching world under Coach Bielema. How would you just describe his coaching style, and what kind of person he is?
Yeah, so Coach is awesome. So he creates a winning culture, for players and staff both, and he's a players coach. In terms of development as a young coach for me, it was really the foundation I needed moving forward in my career, and to have this opportunity to get back and serve on coach's staff is just one of the best opportunities I can think of.
Thanks. Welcome to Champaign.
Thank you.
Terrance, welcome to Champaign. Joey Wagner from the Lion Iron Choir. When did you first meet Bret? I mean, were you in high school? Do you remember the first interaction, and what clicked so well between you two?
Yeah, so I met Coach, during the recruiting cycle in the fall, while I was making a decision on Wisconsin. Coach Alvarez was the head coach at the time, but Coach B was the defensive coordinator. So got a chance to meet him in a recruiting cycle during that fall. During home visits, I remember him coming by my house, my small apartment, and sitting down with me and my family. And just right away, you just knew just the swagger he had, and just the knowledge and the expertise. It was just obvious, and it just clicked right away.
And then, when you were not playing at Wisconsin, what was it? Did the relationship grow during those years that you were able to, I'm assuming, maybe spend some more time with him? What was that experience like?
Yeah, so the transition from not playing and excuse me, the transition from playing into the injury and not playing, it really the relationship grew. We had a relationship as a player, but it grew even more because it was a difficult time for me. It was a time where I couldn't play the game I loved anymore, and was looking for what I wanted to, my new passion, and had an opportunity to come back and work with the defensive line, and and serve on the staff, and develop that passion and grew that relationship from that point on.
Thank you. Welcome to Champaign.
Thank you.
Yeah, Coach, going back to recruiting, were you recruited by Illinois? What was it about Wisconsin? What can you tell me about that pitch maybe that you heard from Illinois back then and what you can do today?
Yeah, so yes, I was recruited by University of Illinois, but during that time, there was some transition, and at the time, so I committed to Wisconsin with Coach Alvarez and his staff, and Coach Bielema, and they had some transition right after that winter break. Coach Zook took the job, and there was an opportunity to take a visit, but there was concern that I would lose my opportunity at Wisconsin. So I probably would have ended up at Illinois. You never know, but I'm glad to be and blessed to be here now.
And what are your thoughts about recruiting, Thornton and other high schools in Chicago, and the connection from there to Champaign?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. This is a great university. One of the best in the country, and to have the opportunity to go back home in Chicago and surrounding locations, proximity states, and let other players know about the opportunity, the great opportunity we have here, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks.
Hi, Coach. Welcome to Champaign. I know you spent some time at Air Force and worked there with Ben Miller. So what did he help to build the bridge a little bit for you to come to Champaign here? I guess what's your relationship working with him and then being on staff with him again here at Illinois?
Yeah, so Ben and I worked together at Air Force. That was our first time meeting each other at that time. Had an opportunity to work for Coach Troy Calhoun. Ben was coaching, coordinating the special teams and coaching our running backs as well. They had a lot of success, and our families got close together during that time, and just kept in touch since then. And it's great to be back working with him.
So did he help to connect you here with Champaign? Was he, I guess, hired before you, or was that just something that you had built with Bielema alone?
Yeah, the opportunity, to come and join the Illini family, really grew from my previous relationship with Coach Bielema. That's what the opportunity became available, and it just made too much sense for myself and our family.
Okay, thanks. Just wanted to clarify. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, this is Bob Osmond from the News Gazette. I'm going to go back to your recruiting when you were a player. Ron Zucchi, as you pointed out, was just getting in. They kind of made recruiting in Illinois a priority. Do you sense that's going to be the case with you guys now, with this staff?
Absolutely. We've got to make the state of Illinois, our place, a focus. And Coach, that's what Coach Bielema wants to do, and that's what we're going to do. We can't let any good player get out of this state, and so we want to make sure we do a good job of getting in touch with the high school coaches and finding the guys that they believe can have success here at Illinois.
I talked to a high school coach yesterday in the state that said there's been some damage done by the previous staff. Is that something pretty easy to fix in your experience? Can you kind of repair that fairly easily with the guys, especially in the state of Illinois, high school coaches, as I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. We just want to move forward. We want to talk about now and talk about what we want to do moving forward, and that's our intent to reestablish those relationships or build relationships moving forward. And again, focus on guys that we need to bring here and help us sustain a winning culture.
Last thing, there was a great player from Thornton named Terrance Jamison. Is that a brother or relative, or? Yeah,
that's my brother.
Okay, pretty cool. He didn't come here either, though. He went to a different school.
Right. Yeah.
Did you guys ever talk about? Did you ever think about coming here? kind of make that statement.
This was our. Actually, Illinois was the first place we ever visited. First college we ever visited, and we had a lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of people we know that played at Illinois and went to school here. So it was one of the first places we looked at coming to. Our parents would bring us down here for spring games and some games. So this was definitely a place on the radar at all times.
And your high school coach was supportive of Illinois, wasn't he?
Absolutely. Coach Bill Mozip.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hey, Terrance, Jeremy Warner from 24/7 Sports. I'm just wondering, probably recruiting Chicago, as most people are asking about it. What kind of players does, that area, since you're from it, produce? What's your experience been like recruiting that area?
Yeah, you're gonna consistently find some tough football players, very talented players, some smart football players, guys that love football, skilled football players as well. Because usually in the Midwest, especially in Chicago, they're playing multiple sports. So you got guys that are playing baseball, running track, playing basketball. So you're always gonna find a quality, football player, athlete, a skilled player coming out of that region.
And then you're leaving Purdue, which obviously Jeff Brom's done some good things there. What was the biggest draw for you to come to Illinois, going from Purdue?
The biggest thing is, being close to the family. We have family, not obviously in Chicago, but we have family here in Champaign, and obviously, the relationship with Coach Bielema. That it just made a lot of sense for my family and I. And we really enjoyed our time at Purdue, and we're very thankful for that time spent there. But this was just an opportunity that I couldn't pass up, and Coach Bielema, just my relationship with him, and I wouldn't have this I wouldn't be in this position. I wouldn't have this starting a career in my career if it wasn't for Coach Bielema. So it was just a great opportunity.
And then one more quick one on the field. What kind of coach are you? What do you demand out of your defensive lineman? What do you want out of defensive linemen?
Yeah, I just bring a lot of care. I care for my guys. I love the game as a player, and so I don't want those guys to lose that love and passion that they have for the game. That's why you play football. That's why you play the defensive line. You have to love the game of football if you're going to play D line. Because it's not an easy position to play. But it's a position that's going to have very talented, very powerful players, and so they're going to need that relationship. What I need from my guys, what I expect from my guys. I'm going to pour into them, but I expect to have guys that love football and that are tough, fundamentally sound and smart, and so that's what we're going to have.
Thanks, Terrance. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, Coach Jamison. Alec Bussey from Orange and Blue News Rivals.com. Really appreciate you speaking with us today. Going back to the first conversations you had with Coach Bielema when you were a recruit, and then the conversations you had with him, I guess, within the last week or so when you were being interviewed, how much has he changed or evolved since those first conversations?
Yeah, so during that time, there was a lot of conversations with the head coach, Coach Alvarez, and the recruiting area recruiter, Coach Ianello, and spent most time meeting with and talking with Coach Bielema when I came on campus. But just observing Coach B, just watching him, as his career has grown and moved forward, just more experience. And what's been consistent is the care that he has for the players and the staff and development from a development standpoint, and also the winning culture. We always won. That's what I've come accustomed with Coach Bielema. And and the thing about winning, it was more so to focus on the small victories. Just taking care of the little things that led to winning for us. And so that's what's been consistent, and that's what has grown over time.
And then you spoke a little bit about your time at Purdue, but now coming to Illinois with some time in the Big Ten as a coach, what is that kind of advantages does that give you now with the recruiting and then obviously the coaching aspect of it, because you're in the same division?
Can you ask that question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you're coming from Purdue, which is obviously in the Big Ten West. What kind of advantages does that give you now that you've seen it for another year before you take over this position at Illinois?
Yeah, so the teams that we compete against on our side, this is pretty much the same teams that we competed against, as a player at Wisconsin, as a coach there, and spending the year at Purdue. The advantage it gives us this past year is just some familiarity with the offensive coordinators, the offensive lines that are going to be returning, and really the cross examination of the film with some of the D line here at Illinois, seeing those guys and the talent that they bring, to the game. And so it's really going to help us. I mean, every year is new, so you got to look at the film with fresh eyes and evaluate your opponent with fresh eyes. So, but it does help.
And then last one that I've got, Coach, you mentioned the film. Have you had a chance to sit down and watch any film of this group of defensive linemen? And if you have, what's kind of stood out to you about some of these players?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is for me to reach out to the guys. And so I've contacted all the D linemen and just wanted to introduce myself. And I'm going to have an opportunity to speak to their parents as well and introduce myself to their loved ones. And then, we'll take a look at their film at a later time. But I think the most important part is trying to establish a relationship from a personal level.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Terrance, Matt Stevens with Illini Now Sports Illustrated. I'm curious as to, your resume produces a deep background of different kind of fronts. Air Force kind of does some funky stuff. Bob at Purdue was trying to transition to a 3-man front. Have you had a conversation with Coach Bielema about what your front's going to look like at Illinois and what could work for you?
Yeah, with the experience of Coach B and the experience of Coach Walters, what we're going to do is we're going to do what's best for our players. So we get a chance to see, what the strengths and opportunities for improvement from our players. That's when we're gonna build and create a defense together. That's going to be best for the Illini defense.
What is some of the things that you feel like you've kind of learned throughout your time, whether it was getting your first job under Charlie at FAU and, transitioning there? It seems like you've had pretty good mentors as you've taken each step throughout your career.
Yeah, and so the biggest thing is that you hear me say it a couple times, and it's just a relationship with your players, because we got to build trust, and they got to know that you care about them before they care about what you know, and the other things that I've learned is just how to take how to put your guys in position to have success, and that comes from just spending time with them and focusing on drill work and seeing what some of their strengths and weaknesses. And the biggest thing is relationship and putting your guys in position to have success. I found that to be something that's helped in my career.
How big is that connection going to be for this defensive staff? Because it seems like it's going to be a whole bunch of guys that have a connection with Coach B, but maybe you guys really haven't worked together yet. I mean, how big is how quickly do you think that cohesion can happen?
Yeah, it's instant. Just spending time with Coach Walters, and we have a lot of similarities in our background, just from a family standpoint, and career and guys that we work for and work with. Coach Bielema does a great job of putting together a staff. He creates an environment for winning. He's very thoughtful in that process, and so you can tell by the guys that he's assembled together so far.
Thanks, Terrance. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Hi, Terrance. This is Colin Likas from the News Gazette. Welcome to Champaign. Alec actually asked one of my questions, so I'll just ask the other one. As far as what you know about Illinois football, obviously you knew about it as a recruit, but as a coach, what are some of the things from those stops at Wisconsin and Purdue that you've kind of learned about Illinois football that you're going to try and take into this new role?
Well, I've always noticed that Illinois, just competing against, I've competed against Illinois during my time in recruiting, during my time in Florida, during my time in Texas. There's always going to be great talent here. Great talent here, guys that can play at a high level that you can win championships with, and so that's definitely going to be consistent. Continue to be consistent. What I'm excited about is the leadership that Coach B brings, and so in the relationship piece, for the players, and to kind of help put these guys in position to have success. And, let's be consistent moving forward.
Thank you, Terrance.
No problem.
Hi, this is Greg Palermo at Fox 2 in St. Louis. Welcome to Champaign. I'm curious what your, I know you haven't had a chance to really talk with them yet, but in St. Louis, we're interested in Moses and then Keith Randolph. I'm wondering what you have seen from them, know of them, and what you hope they can work on and grow with you.
Yeah, so with all the guys that I'm going to have an opportunity to coach is we're gonna push them. We're going to put them in position to have success. But we're excited that they we want those guys to compete. We want to create an environment for competition. We want to make sure they're doing everything that they need to do off the field, so there's no distractions on the field. But that's what I'm excited about.
And you've talked about getting to know Coach Walters. Had you known him either on the recruiting trail or met him previously, or is this all brand new?
So we met one time during the camp circuit, but this is pretty much new. Like I said, it was an instant connection and just a conversation we've had the last couple of days. It's been great.
And lastly, Air Force gives you a kind of a national recruiting base, obviously. Does that help as far as growing relationships in other parts of the country that maybe wouldn't be first thought of as Illinois recruiting territory?
Yeah, it always helps when you can get into a high school with a high school coach and sit down with that coach and find out who their best players are, who their best football players are, and that might not be from a talent standpoint. You want to know who they believe in. It may not have anything to do with stars. You just want to know from their opinion who is the best well-rounded football player, best teammate from those coaches. And no matter where I've been in the past, I've always been excited about getting into that high school and speaking with those high school coaches and finding out, who they believe can help us and play at a high level and have success.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Terrance, I had a quick follow-up. When Bret got this job, in your mind, did you think, I wonder if he's going to call me, just given because of your past, or how did this all kind of come together? Were you surprised at all, or?
So I was excited for Coach, and sent them right away. I sent them a congratulations message right away, and really that was my focus. I always believe in growing where you planted, and so in terms of I don't look to jump, from where I'm at. I believe in growing where you planted and doing a good job of where you're at. But it was a great opportunity for Coach, and I was excited for him. And I'm excited that he reached out and had opportunity to join him.
And you've touched on this a few times, but is there an example or anything? Can you kind of paint exactly what he means to you and the path he's helped you follow as a coach?
Yeah. So, for me, just the success I had in high school as, football, I love football. I love playing the defensive line position. When I played in high school and, have an opportunity to go to a Big Ten institution and play and compete. And, there was a time when I was turning the corner to, get some opportunities to play. And, it was a time where I couldn't do it anymore due to an injury. And so at that time, I really didn't know, in terms of what I wanted to do moving forward, and, looked into athletic administration, but really wanted to get back involved with football, and Coach B allowed that opportunity for me to come back and coach, and really had never thought about being a coach, and I was just thankful and blessed to not only work for him as a student assistant coach, but also the time invested that he took. He saw something in me that he thought that can grow, and so I really appreciate that. And so that's really the biggest thing is from a relationship standpoint. Just the time invested in me and his entire staff and his players. Just a coach that cares.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Coach, one more quick follow-up. Playing at Wisconsin, I feel like their defensive lines have always really been known for being physical in the trenches. Is that a high priority for you and your group of players as you move forward here?
Yeah, I think, defensive linemen, naturally just physical players, tough football players. And here at Illinois, that's who we have. We have guys that are tough, that love football, that are physical. And what helps them to be more physical is just knowing what to do. Understanding how to get in a good stance, where their eyes should be, proper footwork, hand placement, just all that good stuff. And I think that's the biggest thing that helps translate the physical nature to the field.
Thank you.
Terrance, I just want to clarify off of Joey's point of kind of the timeline of how this happened. When Bob was let go at Purdue, were you kind of given assurances that if you wanted to stay at Purdue, you were going to get that opportunity?
Yeah, I was still employed at Purdue. Still a defensive line coach at Purdue. Yeah.
And what kind of did that kind of put in your mind? Okay, this is I need some more stability, or was it more or less just you look down at your phone and it's Coach B, and this is going to be a better opportunity for me, and one that I know I can succeed in? Was it more or less that, or was it instability at Purdue that kind of led you to kind of look around?
Well, my family and I, my wife and I, we don't operate out of fear. We operate in faith. So it had nothing to do with fear and concern. It was just a great opportunity to get back reunited with Coach B.
Coach, you touched on this already a little bit, but on the recruiting side for you, it's interesting looking just at your rivals' profile. Offers from Michigan State, Northwestern, Illinois kind of came in at the end. It sounds like is that how can you and this staff make it so that a guy like you and on the other side of the ledger now can make it so that a recruit doesn't have to wait for Illinois to kind of get in at the end and then, force someone to make the choice. You ended up going to Wisconsin. So how do you flip that switch?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, like I mentioned before, is relationships with the high school coaches, and during the evaluation process, coaches already has plans to divvy up the state within the staff, and that's going to help us to maybe find some sleepers out there that may be overlooked, and so. And I think the biggest thing is the relationship with the high school coaches, because sometimes they may not share information with some coaches, and so I think that's what's going to be important. Did I answer that question? I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you very much.
Guys, all good? Got anything else?
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it does mute real quick.